There has been a lot of controversy in Pokemon Go about playing as a rural player because of the disadvantage of how many Pokestops, Pokemon spawns, gyms, and more that spawn in those areas in comparison to cities. So today we are going to go to Toronto and drive an hour and 45 minutes outside of the city into the countryside of Canada to test out a true rural town to see what the spawns look like, what it looks like to play there, and more. So will playing in a remote area truly be as challenging as most people talk about? Let's find out right now. So welcome to the Trainer Club. Here we go. Okay, so we're actually driving to the rural town right now. We're with Dakota. What's up, bro?
What's up?
So what town are we going to?
We are going to Wyville, Ontario.
Wyville, Ontario. And how many people do you think might be in this town?
Just hundreds.
Hundreds of people. Okay, so this is gonna be the first time I've ever really actually been in like a super remote place and just kind of like showcased what Pokemon Go looks like. And how far outside of Toronto are we?
We are almost 2 hours at this point.
Okay, so almost 2 hours outside of Toronto in a very small town. So for all the rural players out there that, you know, I've heard you in all of my comments be like, oh, we've got affected by so many things and it's hard to play Pokemon Go. I'm gonna experience that firsthand today to see what it's like. Dakota, what do you think it's like for them, and what do you think struggles that they have, and what like changes in the game do you think have like made an impact?
The remote raid pass change, definitely. Because like, yeah, towns like these only have like 1 or 2 gyms. So yeah, it basically just feels bad missing out on raids and stuff like that. Nests too is a big one. You don't get a lot of nests. And yeah, hotspots to play really.
Yeah, and you know, like Pokemon Go is like, I feel like from base core principle, it's like go outside and play. But what happens if you have to drive 20, 25 minutes every single time you want to play, or 30 minutes or an hour or whatever that is? You know, the Pokemon Go aspect starts to become a little bit different than, you know, what it is if you live in a place where it's like, oh, I can just ride my bike up, you know, maybe like 5 minutes up the street, right?
Yeah, I just moved from Toronto like a year and a half ago, and that's exactly what I experienced. In Toronto, you can just like bus 10, 15 minutes anywhere and be at a huge park and have all kinds of stuff to play. You know, playing with your gacha from the car is like a crazy experience. We experienced that with Raid Hour, right? Yesterday, we literally had to drive like half an hour, 40 minutes to get somewhere where it was actually, you know, a hotspot to play. So yeah, it's challenging.
Yeah, and what town was that we played in?
That was downtown Barrie.
Okay, downtown Barrie. So we had to drive 30 minutes, which obviously we have the luxury of having a car. And if you're, you know, maybe like a 15-year-old player or whatever that is, and you don't have a car, and you have to ask your parents, hey, can you drive me an hour round trip just to play Pokemon? Then it becomes a little unfeasible. So yeah, I mean, you know, that's kind of the experience that we're going for today. And thankfully Dakota is gonna help us out. Appreciate you, dude. And yeah, let's check out Wyville. All right, let's go. Okay, before we get into this vlog, Dakota, what'd you get?
I got a shiny Wooper.
Shiny Wooper, dude.
Best day of my life.
Wow. Okay, so I have not opened Pokemon Go yet, but we should probably get into that right now. What is Tiny?
So Tiny is the township. So
Okay.
kind of where I live, right? We're at the southernmost point of Tiny.
Yeah.
And then this goes like all the way north.
Okay.
But this is pretty much it, right? Just like
All
a
right.
bunch of major roads and then small towns that you drive through.
Okay, so Dakota just got a Wooper, which is crazy. And we're gonna go ahead and load Pokemon Go. And this is Canada, right? So we're in Canada, an hour and 45-ish outside of Toronto.
Yeah, that's pretty fair.
And here we go. We're gonna see what this town looks like for the first time ever in Pokemon Go. Okay, so this is Wyville. Wow. Okay, so on my nearby, I could see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Pokestops total and 1 gym.
Yep.
1 gym. Okay, 6 Pokestops in a gym, and there is not 1 raid. Obviously, there's 1 gym here, and this is what our nearby looks like. So yeah, wow. Okay, I can definitely see why being in a small town would be quite challenging here.
Yeah, like there's no Raid Hour here.
Yeah, that's crazy. All right, well, I'm gonna go ahead and try to catch a couple Pokemon. I mean, maybe I can get lucky too, since Dakota did. We're not gonna get lucky on that one, that one. We'll kind of walk through this whole town and see like how many spawns we can get in this town, kind of get a feel for that, and then wait around maybe for a little bit. And I mean, we have a Quagsire here, but you know, there's what, 2 more spawns, so 5 total spawns here. See if there's any kind of like spawn cluster areas, and then we'll give you guys a wrap up of how it is to play in a small town.
Yep.
Yeah, let's do it. Okay, so we made it like 30 feet, and we're at the 2 Pokestops. So literally, Dakota said if you could ride this trail right here, it looks like there's some Pokestops that he said would pop up if we're riding like a bike or something, right? Looks like a pretty nice trail, don't get me wrong. But for Calm Day, like thinking about playing Calm Day here, I mean, you probably just lure up these 4 Pokestops and kind of walk like that block right there.
Yeah.
And just do that with an incense. I mean, I guess that would work, but that would be a very muted Calm Day compared to what.
And then even something like a research day, right, where you need Pokestops.
Oh, that's very
You can't
true.
be doing something something like this year either.
So in order to get those Pokestops, we'd have to go to where we were, like Barrie yesterday.
Yeah,
to
Barrie.
get that many, which is like a 30-minute drive.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but shout out to Pokemon Go, like without, you know, obviously this video is a little bit challenging for some people, but you know, having these second tier evolution spawns, even though a Whirlipede is kind of useless, still pretty cool to see like a little bit better Pokemon than, you know, just like a bunch of like Weedles and Young Goose out there.
Yeah, no, the rule update was really good actually.
Yeah, and then you said also at your house you got like some spawn or around your house too, right?
Yeah, the trail in the forest we walked on has spawn points for some reason.
Right.
Yeah, they really went off.
Cool. Well, I mean, that's a good thing. So having a little bit more distribution of spawns would be awesome. And then I feel like, you know, I like the S2 cell kind of mapping and everything, but it doesn't really fare well for places like this where it's like you can't get a ton of stops in this area because the density of the S2 cells in cities is very close, but as you get into rural areas, it's much bigger. And maybe there might not be spawn points or you know, POIs to be able to make Pokestops, which makes it more challenging to have stuff.
Yeah, right. Massive like spaces of like just private property, right? Not a lot of businesses, not a lot of like public buildings.
Yeah.
So.
All right, well, let's keep walking. Shout out to the Instinct player for taking over this gym for us, knowing that we were coming. I'm just kidding. Yeah, Dakota went ahead and put in there. This person's been in there for a day, so it looks like, you know, maybe semi-decent activity around here if they just took over this gym a day ago and there was a different gym. But who knows? It could have been a passerby, but we'll see how long we're gonna stay in this gym right now. But obviously, you know, we got to jump in, spin the task, get it. All right. So now Dakota and I are walking to the next Pokestop in the town, okay, 1 of 5, and we're gonna check this shiny Stunfisk. We actually have a Staraptor, which is a crazy spawn that I've been seeing pump out lately. But the other thing I am noticing is that when we walk down this street, right, to this end, we're in a neighborhood and there's no sidewalks in these towns either, right?
Yeah, I was actually just thinking that, like, even getting around these towns is like, yeah, challenging because there's no sidewalks.
Yeah.
No chance you're walking like town to town, right? Like on these like pseudo highways.
Yeah, they're back highways and no sidewalks. I mean, this one has a bike path, but I would assume that not every town like this has a bike path, right?
No, that's like very special. There used to be a railroad.
Yeah, oh, okay.
That they converted, yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. So yeah, getting from town to town on foot, like Pokemon Go, you know, like we're gonna pop an adventure incense here. Hopefully one of us will get a bird here in a second. But man, they are super limited, and I totally get, like, from a real-time perspective right now, like how much raid pass doing remotes would really affect, like, if you can or can't, you know, you're limited to 5. That's like, you know, you can go onto a global thing like, you know, my Discord or anything else and get friends, but after you hit that 5 for the day, if you want to play more, like, you're pretty much like at mercy of if this gym spawns a few raids a day.
Yeah, exactly.
And even in like Dana Point, like I wouldn't consider my town to be huge, but we have, you know, probably I could see like 15 gyms from my place. And even with 15 gyms, sometimes I still don't see a ton of raids. So thinking about just having one is like kind of mind melting.
Yeah, it's pretty rough. Like even the other town just down the street, like Elmville, they have like probably close to 10. And it's the same problem with like raid hour. Sometimes not every gym for the raid hour produces a 5-star raid.
Right, yeah.
So yeah, it gets even like smaller.
And then that would be like, well, where do we go for more raids? Like for me, it's like if I just go like a few minutes up the street, I get another access to 10 to 15 more gyms.
Yeah.
But if you're so densely like secluded into one town and there's like 20 minutes between, it's not really feasible.
No car, no public transit really. Like, yeah, you're kind of trapped.
Interesting. All right, well, I'm about to pop my adventure incense if you want to do so. See if we can get ourselves a Galarian bird on the exploration here. And we've made ourselves to the town park, I guess, is where the kids play. So they have one slide, 2 regular swings, 2 kid swings, couple benches, an overhang that looks like breeds mosquitoes, and there's like literally nothing here. Okay, so there was like 3 Pokemon, and we have a Pokestop. This is gonna be Tiny Reynolds Park with the hilarious Pokestop spin right there that doesn't even have the sign correctly in it, so that's fun. But yeah, so the goal is to just try to hit some of these Pokestops. Oh, there's actually a Gabite around here. That's kind of wild. So we're gonna go ahead and collect all the Pokemon at all the Pokestops, and then see what happens from there. But yeah, pretty small park, eh?
Yeah.
Slides are for the win though. All right, we are pulling up to a Pokestop, and the other thing that Dakota and I just kind of like figured out, I think Dakota mentioned it, is like you're not going to be able to get balls in a town like this, right? Like
no.
How many Pokemon have we probably caught right now? Like 25 maybe?
Yeah, way more than we would actually, like we burned way more balls than we would have gathered from these stops.
Yeah, right. So in order to restock our bag, to be able to make this sustainable, we would have to actually like not catch Pokemon.
Yeah.
And just roll around. Obviously you can open friends gifts and everything like like that, but wow, there's a shift tree right here. There's actually like a decent spawn point right here. This isn't too bad. But yeah, like, I mean, imagine for Calm Day, like how long it would take you to fill your bag back up. There would be massive ball problems. There's raid problems in a town like this. There's distance where you want to go problems. It's kind of like a safety problem with not having sidewalks and stuff. And yeah, it's crazy.
Right, yeah, it's a struggle to prep for something like a Calm Day. And then, yeah, during a Calm Day, you're going to run out of balls so fast.
Absolutely. Okay, and then we've had a lot of pretty good spawns out here today, but Gabite I think is probably the biggest W of a spawn. It's actually windy weather out here, and boom, it's not super windy out here either, but I really like that they did lower the threshold to wind, because before it was like impossible to get wind, right? So yeah, Gabite's definitely a massive win here for the day. So 5, looks like 12, 14. Looks like there's still some spawns. It looks like maybe that other Pokestop down there that we haven't hit yet. Yeah, it's probably that other one, honestly. Oh, probably that one right there. And the adventure incense is done, and we got ourselves 6 caught Pokemon. I don't know, I must have not caught some of them, but no birds. Anything good for yours?
No, that 98% Swablu.
Oh yeah, he got a 98 Swablu. That's pretty fire. So as Dakota did mention, with the Pokeball issue, so we caught in about 1 lap of this downtown area, 61 Pokemon. So actually the spawns are much better than I had anticipated.
Yeah, the spawns were pretty great.
Yeah, and not only are the spawns good, these are the spawns that we all caught that I highlighted. There was an Ivysaur out there. I actually got their Armaldo from the research. There was a Gabite in the wild, a Glalie in the wild, Scyther, a Shiftry, another Scyther, Panpour was there. The Swinub was from a balloon. There was an Azumarill, a Nuzleaf, a Staraptor, Torchic was there, a couple of those, and a Whirlipede. So I mean, honestly, overall, like the spawns were much better than I anticipated.
Yeah, I can agree.
But with that said, we caught 61 and we probably spun 6 Pokestops in 1 gym, so 7 total, which probably at max, maybe we got 3 balls from everyone, which is extremely rare. We would be getting 21 balls in return, which puts us at a deficit of 40 Pokeballs just from 1 lap around town. And then how are we gonna get those back? Like we need gifts or something else, or just not catch Pokemon, which is like the goal of the game. So not getting as many items when you're playing in a town like this is kind of a bummer. And actually on our way out of town, quite a bit out, you can't see that. I think that's the edge of that Pokestop right there. We found ourselves a gym, but we're in the car driving. So if you do not drive, that's a little bit of a challenge. And it is a 1-star raid in 52 minutes. But then that also brings to the point that like, you have to actually have people in your town that play to be able to participate in anything like a legendary raid or a mega raid, or God forbid a shadow raid would be virtually impossible out here unless you really have some people that are quite stocked up. In order to get high levels and good quality Pokemon, I mean, you have to decently play this game. So there's a whole lot of issues that come around with this type of town, but it was a really good experience to kind of see what people go through. I mean, this is literally the road that we're driving down, and just kind of see, you know, what an experience would be for a rural player. And then we're going to be in downtown Toronto, so we'll definitely see a stark difference there. And so that does it. Yes, it is way more challenging to play in a rural area, as you can see. And let's pop right into downtown Toronto and just look at the stark difference between the 2 areas. I mean, the amount of Pokestops you can see in this area is monumentally different than what is in Wyville, right? So this is actually crazy. The amount of items I can pick up in this town. I actually could pick up more items than I can catch Pokemon, and I will always have a stock bag playing in a downtown area. There's more than enough Pokemon, there's players, and there's gyms. As of right now, you know, in that area, we didn't see barely a raid in almost 2 hours. Here we have 16 raids and eggs combination going on right now. So very stark difference. Let me know in the comments below what you think the game could do to increase rural player capabilities in Pokemon Go. I want to take this time to thank everybody who supports me in every facet. It means the world to me, and an extra special thank you to all my Patreons. I greatly appreciate the extra support to continue to allow me to pursue Pokemon Go full time, allowing me to create my daily video uploads in the most timely fashion for everyone's benefit. Plus, I get the amazing experience of sharing my creative processes behind the scenes and raiding all around the globe with select upper tiers. Thank you everybody for being a part of the Trainer Club. You all mean the absolute world to me, and I will see you guys out on the next video.